Hey everybody, we're back with another Lord Saunders Reacts, and I gotta go back to Guga because he just does the most insane things that I think we've all kind of like thought about and wondered what happens. So this one right here, he soaked a steak for 1 month in soy sauce. That sounds terrible. So I really want to see what he's gonna do with this. As you know, he does like the weirdest videos on all kinds of insane things, microwaving briskets. Like I said before, he did a like a 4 year aged steak from like on a that he accidentally forgot and left in his freezer and pulled it out and tried it. So I mean, the guy is willing to go the distance on some of these like weird foods. But I mean, if you've always wondered like what happens if you do X, he does a lot of this stuff. So he's inspiring me to try out a lot of this stuff. But I wanted to actually see what happens if you soak a steak in soy sauce for a month. So let's see what happens, see what he did, and we will go from there. Love that
This
logo.
is soy sauce. Now, I chose for today's experiment the low sodium version. You will understand later on why. But if we take a look at the back, we have several different ingredients: soybean, wheat, salt, and lactic acid, which is the one I'm mostly interested in. You see, lactic acid makes meat more tender, and that is exactly what I'm
Mhm.
looking for because I'm going to be doing something you've never seen before.
Okay, that looks terrible. That does not look good. Let's see what happens.
This is a beautiful New York strip. Notice that this is a choice grade steak, and I have three goals. One, I want the steak to be as tender as possible. Two, I also want an incredible flavor. And three, see if this steak will turn out better than my regular one. And for that, I'll be marinating three of them in soy sauce. One will be for just 24 hours. Another one will be for a week. And lastly, we're gonna do one for a whole month.
That's actually a good way to do the test. You really get a chance to see what happens. It's not you get the full flavor, you get like the original, you kind of like are controlling your variability to give you like the full scale. So that's actually pretty smart.
This way, it's really going to allow us to understand what soy sauce does to meat. Well, we're about to find out right now. Because after letting all of them marinate, the time is now up. Let's start off with the one that was marinated for 1 day. Take a look at this steak. It feels extremely tender. I'm talking about almost as tender as a pineapple steak. It's
Wow.
soft, it's jiggly, and it smells fantastic. But now let's move on for the one for a week. Whoa. Here we have
What?
a completely different scenario. This thing is not tender at all. It's actually quite dense. Whenever I push the steak, it does not give. It smells fantastic, and believe it or not, there's still a tremendous amount of soy sauce in there. I
Wow.
cannot wait to find out
Soaked
how
it
it's
up.
gonna taste. But let's move on to the third steak. Now, this one.
It was like a
What
black
in
brick.
the world is this? This is the darkest steak I've ever seen in my life. It is also extremely hard. However, the smell is phenomenal.
Okay.
This got me super excited because the next thing to do was to go ahead and lay them down on a cutting board where the control stayed.
Wow, that's pretty substantial. I mean, kind of like what you'd expect from the first two, but man, you like how dark it is even after 1 week, and it's even darker after a month. That's incredible.
As expected, this is a beautiful prime steak. This one feels way more tender, super jiggly, and I cannot wait to give it a try.
Hmm.
The one for a week, it's something else. Since it was so dense, I wanted to find out how deep the soy sauce went. So I went ahead and cut it a piece. And when I did, take a look. This thing made almost halfway
That's
in
pretty good
there. This is what
penetration.
happens whenever you have a marinade that contains salt. It will literally penetrate deeply in there. Hopefully, it's gonna taste fantastic. But then I wanted to find out about the one for a month. So I went ahead and cut up a piece and take a
Wow.
look. Wow, this one penetrated all the way in. I have a feeling this one is going to be quite special. And we'll be
Wow.
finding out
It's
really
pretty
shortly.
impressive.
Because the next thing to do is to go ahead and get them seasoned. Now,
Yep.
since soy sauce has a lot of salt, I'm not going to be using any salt on any of the experimental steak, only for the control one. Then I season all of them with freshly ground black pepper, followed by garlic powder. I have a
Yeah.
feeling that if I add any salt to the other ones, it's not going to be a good
Be a
idea.
salt lick.
Hopefully, this will be the right choice. First, I'll be putting a nice, wonderful sear. Then, I'll be cooking them in indirect
Nice.
heat until I reach an
Searing them
internal
first.
temperature of
Got it.
135 degrees Fahrenheit. And for that,
135,
I'm going to be
medium
using
rare.
my Chef IQ thermometers. These will ensure that they will cook to perfection. Because now I say, it is enough talking and it is time to cook some beautiful steak. So
Yep.
let's do it.
So he's going for a traditional method of cooking as opposed to like a reverse sear where you heat them up and then sear them at the end. Yeah, I love that sizzle hero shot. Ooh. All right. Now to let them cook internally. Robes. Looks like 3 briquettes. Control. Looks delicious. Okay. Just 1 day. 1 week. Oh, interesting. Okay, still looks good though. In a month. Man, that looks like a
All right, everybody, here we got our beautiful steak. We have 4 beautiful steaks. I really want to know your
boys.
opinion. How does this taste? How good, how bad, how ugly it is? So, enough talking. Let's dig in. Are you guys ready for it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. And as you can see, we have something to drink here because this might be needed today. I'm talking especially with you, Salt Savant.
Me?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I might be a little salty today. Very good. Enough talking. I'm very curious to see how these steaks are going to taste. Let's begin. Please, let's go this direction right here.
all right. Start with the
man.
control
Dig in.
steak.
Steaky steak. My favorite kind of videos are the videos where the table is full.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
Oh, my God.
A steak like this, you got no complaints.
It doesn't get old, everybody.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
savor this steak because clearly we got bottles, we got side dish, we got a bunch of steaks here. There's going to be some craziness. So this might be the only normal steak we try, Angel. I'm trying to savor every single bite.
You might be surprised.
You said it's about to get real salty up in here. This steak is perfect. It's not too salty, well seasoned, nice crust on it. It's tender. And the best part of all, it's got a nice beefy flavor on it.
I agree.
Dude, this steak is perfect. Let's move on because I know this is the
Yeah.
control. So let's
Yeah.
do the other one.
I
on.
agree. Let's go. Dig in.
Time to
Please.
get real salty
All right,
up in
1
here.
day.
Let's see. First, smell it. Tell me if you can tell any difference.
It's got a little bit of a different smell, but nothing crazy.
Definitely some Asian scents.
Mm.
Okay.
Damn, are y'all looking at me?
We want to know what you think.
There's no crazy difference in the smell here. I'm just looking forward to try it.
Let's see. Let's find out right now. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Mm.
That
Mm.
was good.
Tastes like maybe some soy sauce or something.
Mm.
It was good though.
I do think it's
So I used to marinate my steaks in Worcestershire sauce when I do like a skirt steak. I would marinate mine in some Worcestershire and some garlic for either overnight or for a few hours, and it actually provided like a really decent flavor, not overpowering, but it gave it a nice characteristic. And while I do realize that that's a very different flavor profile than specifically soy sauce, I do wonder if that's kind of a nice similar like again, like you said, like a kind of like an Asian flavor, an Asian note. I'd be curious to see if that's actually a similar kind of experience that they're going to have, because I know I really liked that, and that seems like this could be a pretty decent candidate for that as well. It should be awesome.
a very juicy steak. It's got a perfect crust, and it's not salty enough.
Not salty
Also, the
enough.
steak is a little bit more tender, I think.
I agree.
More
yeah.
tender.
I agree as
Interesting.
well. It is more tender than the first one. However, maybe it's missing a little bit of salt.
You said it was about to get real salty in here. I was expecting the salt to hit me like pow pow, but instead the salt hit me like pow pow.
Okay, bro.
It could use a little bit more salt, but not so much. And surprisingly, it's more tender.
See if that
All right,
smoothness holds
everybody,
out.
that's enough because now I'm excited to try the next one. Please, guys, dig in. I'm curious.
Okay,
Enough
here's the
talking,
1
let's
week
give it a go.
soy.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. This
Woo.
one just is not bad.
Woo!
One of, if not the saltiest steak we've ever had here. And I'm
Wow.
gonna say right now, I actually really like the flavor. I actually really
Okay.
like the flavor. I'm
All
not
right.
gonna lie. But what I really don't like is the texture. It got so
Yeah.
tough. It doesn't even taste like steak anymore.
Wow.
It tastes like pork.
Yes.
That's a good
Pork.
description,
That's a
Leo.
good
That's
one.
It
really
feels like
interesting.
all the fibers like shriveled up and just made it way like more difficult to chew through.
I
Wow.
would say that this steak got cured, everybody. It got cured.
Man,
that's
and
what
that's
it is.
only
And
1
man,
week.
That thing is salty. The salt savant has came back.
Yeah, he's doing his thing because honestly, that's too salty for me.
If you get over the texture, it's honestly not that bad. I really like it.
So here's the deal. The last steak should be slightly more powerful. Enough. Let's go for the last one. I'm curious. Salt savant excited.
Let's do it.
Me and Angel, not
Man,
so much.
this is
no.
gonna be intense.
Enough talking. Let's give it a go.
at
Cheers,
our
everybody.
Face is gonna pucker up.
Oh, I can't.
Oh, that's powerful, boy.
That's real salty right there. That is a real salt right there. It's taken every inch of my salty powers to not fight this steak.
This steak literally tastes like soy sauce with a side of steak.
Notice one thing, everybody. We're having a good time eating this steak. We're not spitting the steak out.
I think the biggest takeaway from these steaks is as they get saltier, what happens is that salt completely washes out the beef flavor. So it doesn't even feel like you're really having a steak anymore. It just feels like you're drinking salt, which in my case, I like.
Okay, so like that's pretty intense. I think that to see how like the texture changes and how the flavor changes. I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be kind of like a salt lick when they kind of got through it, but after that first one, I wasn't so sure because they said it was kind of undersalted, so maybe that low sodium soy sauce was going to impact it. But this is not an experiment I feel like I need to try. I think they covered it pretty well. I think the boys always do it well, and they always enjoy their flavors. This seemed like a really great experiment that I'm glad somebody else did. So we'll just go ahead and get on to the next reaction video and the next dish we want to try, because that looked awesome, and I also think I'm good. I'll let them handle that one. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. We'll see you on the next video.